Welcome to Event Watch the full game from NLC Spring Playoffs 2025.
Filled his shoes as a jungler on Los Ratones, and right now he's one of the main carries, and he's carrying her.
Can I just say, as we're going into the draft, yes, I think what we need to be looking at in this draft right now is going to be the top lane, because we've talked a lot about how Los Ratones might be losing through the top lane sometimes, even though they win still in the end with, don't go for the bows. But I'm looking at Vizichachi on the side of the NORD, and NORD having the first pick, by the way, which might be crucial for them, because Vizichachi is exactly that player who can deliver a deadly hit through bows, especially with his champion pool. If you look into it, he plays stuff like Camille, honestly, is the first one comes to my mind. I believe we'll have more chances to talk about his champion pool later, but I think Chachi's choice of champion here for NORD is going to be crucial for the game number one.
Right, and this is the question. And like you say, Solari, what do we see? A champion like Camille? He plays those kind of Camille style champs, and Bessa he plays as well. We saw quite a flavor of the month pick right now too, right? Yorick was something that Chachi pulled out.
Yes.
And if we're talking about people that go toe-to-toe and that split push, I mean, I'm starting to dig graves. I might not like the jungler with the cigarette, but I like the guy in the top.
It's a cigar, it's different.
Dig's great, yeah. That's
I do believe this is gonna be Jhin. We've seen Crowley playing Jhin non-stop. At least he can get that Jhin once. Keep it, there you go. But keep in mind there are a few other flavors coming in for LR. And if you get to see Alessandra, it's a flex. I know this is weird, but it's a flex. I've seen stuff, weird stuff, but it works somehow.
Where would you flex it to? Who takes it? Nemesis and who?
Baus.
Oh, okay. That was a dumb question, I guess.
Yeah, it makes sense. It doesn't, but it makes sense anyway. There you go. This is a flex again.
No, it's not. It's not! It's Poppy and Vizichachi! You don't separate the two from each other! It's Poppy-Chachi!
Okay, all this chatting we've been doing, we didn't even mention Poppy-Chachi. Of course! That was permaban from him in the finals when these two teams last played. And he gets his hands on it now. And pretty good, to be honest, I would say, against Baus's champion pool. He tends to play champions that like to jump around a bit to get those escapes. I mean, if this Vi goes into Baus's hands, for example, which I would be surprised now that we've seen the Poppy lock in, it's a great answer for that too. So, yes, Norway's going on to a more signature control mage in that mid lane. I don't think he missed a beat, considering he wasn't there for the entirety of the seeding stage. But, yeah, I like this so far from NORD, and I think Los Ratones, we hyped this series up, and from the draft so far, I'm pretty hyped.
No, I like what NORD are pulling out, because we have a lot of lane control and lane domination from them already. We have a lot of poke, especially depending on what build this Varus is going to go into, and we have an extremely reliable front lane in the face of Poppy. So there are a lot of ways how NORD can pull these draft around, depending on what other picks they decide to go for, because I'm seeing a lot of objective control, I'm seeing a lot of team fighting. This is a well-rounded draft already.
We're going to the second phase of bans. We're going to skip a few. The jungle supposedly are picked. AD carry as well, and mid laners. When you look into those supports, obviously you're going to tackle a little bit more, because you're still not sure whether or not that Vi is going top, although we all believe so, because Poppy versus Vi, I think Baus kind of needs to move. On the other side, you want to take away those hard engages in protection from the Varus, but we still have a lot of them. It's still, by the way, Fearless Draft, it's only a BO3, so it's not that deep into the...
Can I just say about this top side, I would be surprised if Baus wants to play Poppy in, Baus wants to play Vi into Poppy. And we have seen Velia play Vi. He has done it, right?
Yes.
And you even did it in your game show last week, Archer, right? Where he was like one-shotting people.
Yeah, actually.
He was really gross on that Vi. So certainly is that flex option, as we see now. The bot side coming into it. Rexus does like these more. His most played champion is the Rakan. Really protecting the Jhin too, so would not be too surprised to see that go down.
It's good for the lane.
Alistar, no?
Sorry?
Alistar or Leona here for Nash now.
Leona would sound so, but Rel, Leona.
Just getting your horse, baby. Sorted. Lock that in. Slam it down, baby. Yeah, mate, I'm a soundboard. That's me.
I love it.
Yeah. Okay, and some aggression in the jungle as well from Jankos. So really, we can see there's a lot of places to play through here, right? At that bot side especially. And maybe we saw when Lost Ratones looks a little bit shaky, it was Olaf plus someone attacking top side in against Lost Ratones. So yeah, if you want to attack top side, hell, you can do that.
Depending on what is going to be the pick for both, though. Yeah, because that's the last pick most likely, because we don't think that this fight is going there. And Galio.
Yeah, I think it's cool. So Galio doesn't suffer too much versus Poppy. It's a pretty chill matchup, and you have this like dive in still. You have it's a bit like it's well rounded. Ori plus Vi can do that combo, but Vi jumping in with ulti, Galio ults Vi, sorted. Also, it's good disengage, right? If we've got the likes of the Rel and the Xin Zhao jumping on Crowny, again sorted with the Galio. I think it's a nice all round pick, and it should do well in the lane phase too. Just depends on what Jankos decides to do as he moves towards the top side.
Okay,
it's really interesting. Yeah, even if the Poppy ult is the person that engages, if Baus follows it up, you can't take away the Galio because he's going to land regardless. So this is a good insight. So Shockwave is always there. Well, the champions are in front of us. So final words, Foxdrop and Solari. Who do you think is going to take this first game?
For the plot, I'm going to say NORD.
Ooh, I like that one. I like that. I actually like their draft. I'd say nameplates off. I'm feeling NORD. Nameplates off. I'm feeling NORD.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you go for NORD as well, Fox?
I mean, that's a different question, but no.
Come on.
I mean, look, the rats are just the rat. You know what? Screw it. Let's do it. 2-0. A full-on NORD death. Let's do it.
The plot thickens as we jump into this first series of the day on the upper bracket. LR versus NORD. We've seen them on the finals. What do we get to see during Spring Split? It's up to the casters. Trouble in a hip frame. Take it away.
Thank you very much. Hello and welcome to the Caster Desk. We're ready to go into this first of our two best of threes we've got coming up today. Me and Trouble aren't going to be on camera for long because we are ready to get straight into the next Trouble. Live into game really quick. This is so different from last week. We're just into action.
Sorry, did I press the game too fast? I didn't I?
I think you did.
I
am kind of low-key hoping you're still muted. Please tell me that you're not muted.
I'm not muted.
Okay.
Man.
I just have to always be prepared for you to be muted.
All right. When is a good time to start going on a Vi rant? Is it now? It should probably be the early
you're
game, right?
such a hater. Go on.
You know what? I wasn't going to hate this time around.
Oh, wow.
Jokes on you. I
Unmuted
like
and not hating on Vi. What the hell's going on?
I'm a new woman. I woke up on the right side of the bed today, I guess. I really like what they've got going on for Vi right here, right? They've got a pretty much a front-to-back composition from the side of NORD, and I feel like Vi together with Galio could potentially break this apart, because Lost Ratones also have sort of like a conventional front-to-back with the Orianna, the control mates, Jhin, and Brownie play for super far back, but they also have sort of elements that can break apart those front-to-back fights, make them a little bit more chaotic, give a little bit more agency to Velia and Baus to make those plays. So we'll see if this will actually come to life through Velia and Baus.
Yeah, my only concern for Lost Ratones coming into this draft is the damage profile and where the damage is actually coming from. Because Nemesis and Crowny are going to be the primary damage dealers. And if they are picked off, if they are killed, then suddenly I do worry that you'll run out of damage. Like, Galio has a bit of burst in his kit, but like he's not going to be providing lots of sustained damage.
Well, joke's on you, because Baus has taught Velia how to actually build Vi.
Oh, no. Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. It's not happening.
It's not crit Vi.
It's not.
Thank God for that.
It's
I mean, actually, I'd love to see crit Vi. Crit Vi is so much fun. But yeah, I mean, that's my only concern, right? But, you know, it is Lost Ratones. They're very, very good at kind of playing around their damage dealers and kind of recognizing the powers of their comps. So, you know, while it's easy to kind of poke a hole in the theory, like this is a team who, in practice, are very good at applying that. So we'll keep our eyes on the positioning in the fight, because I feel like if Jankos or Vizicachi can find like a good flank angle, there is a world where you could blow up Nemesis or Crowny and basically deny them from, you know, being able to contribute to a fight.
Yeah, absolutely. I also feel like Jhin might have a pretty good time here, because you don't necessarily have a lot of beefy front lines. Sure, Zhao and Poppy can get tanky with Poppy a little bit more so, because she tends to go a little bit more on the heavier tank side after her first item. If Chachi chooses to go for Sundered Sky first. However, I feel like still Jhin does do pretty good amounts of damage on like pseudo tanks or bruisers, so like Rel and Xin Zhao shouldn't be that much of a problem for him. However, I feel like I'm looking at these both drafts, and I feel like so much comfort has gone to both of those sides. We've got Chachi Poppy, we've got Noe's Victor right here, and on the other side we've got Crownage Jin, who had like an insane something like a 30-something KDA on the first 3 games that he played the champion, which is crazy. And you'd think that this is game number 1, right? These are gone for game number 2, so going for right here for both of these guys. The flash.
Yeah, force now from Crowny already. Jankos not going to be able to find any damage. Now, we are seeing Baus in a bit of danger here. Goes for the taunt. Isn't going to make the connection, but incredibly low. Baus is just going to have to look for a reset. The good news for him is there's no jungler about. Jankos is not going to be making an appearance towards that top side, so he should be able to get his reset off and head back to base and come back in with some items. Just buys himself a Dark Seal and a boot. And gets himself a refill potion as well, actually. But Chachi definitely got the upper hand in this lane already. 34 CS to 22. Starting to build up a bit of a lead already. Where on the other side, everyone else is kind of playing a little bit more equal footing as far as the farming goes. Although Velia has been kind of just power farming. And is actually starting to build up a bit of a lead over Jankos. As Baus now feeling comfortable to jump in, but the steadfast presence. I mean, it's so easy to stop Galio with that ability.
I'm telling you, man, this Pop is going to be so annoying to play around for Los Ratones. Galio, Vi, Rakan, all love diving in. And the thing is, Poppy W lasts for quite a while, so if one member engages without the other, if Los Ratones do not chain their CC and they're engaged together, it could be pretty bad news. We talked about them splitting apart a fight over in the backline for NORD, but if they don't all do it together, this could end up being really dicey for them. And we're saying this, there's not necessarily really much happening. Like, both teams are very happy scaling towards that late game. Of course, you mentioned it earlier. I feel like NORD are very much favored going into this late game. However, my caveat here is that this virus is not an on-hit virus. So you're pretty fine on those 1 and 2 item power spikes as Los Ratones will engage on the first dragon. Let's see if the handshake's going to go through with Jankos heading to the top side for the grabs.
Well, this is pretty typical of Los Ratones. They're very, very effective at taking first dragon. They actually look to forego the grubs. I'll be interested once we get down the line, once we move into the next patch where grubs is just a 3-stack and there's not 6 grubs. If that attention shifts from them, I'll be really, really interested to see how they handle the changes to grubs. That patch is now live for everyone at home, by the way. So if you want to play on a very pretty map, current season has gone into fact. Atakan changed as well. You don't get the revive Atakan anymore.
Sag.
I'm so not sad by that. First of all, it barely ever showed up. I mean, especially in solo queue. Like, pro play definitely showed up a bit more, but even so. Looks like we might be seeing a little something showing up on the bot lane because Velia was making an appearance. There's going to be the shockwave into the knockback. No way, low HP. That's going to be the ultimate connected, but the first blood picked up for Nemesis. Doesn't get cooked by the Chaos Storm. Grubs are traded over.
I'd like to see the replay on that one more time because Nash was around. Jankos, of course, has the handshake, the void grabs because the dragon went over to Alar earlier on. And Nash kind of walked a little bit too deep to try and get some vision into enemy territory, right? Which is correct right there. I feel like Noe was playing too much on the right side of that mid lane. Ended up getting ganked by Valley right there. But also the flash was never used by Noe. He actually sat into that shockwave from Nemesis. Could have flashed away. It wasn't quite the case right there and ends up going down. That is actually pretty huge. I'm not sure if Velia or Nemesis got the kill. But if it has gone over to Velia, which is not, okay, it's not the case, not on buy. Still, a kill is a kill is a kill.
Absolutely. Vikrani going to be able to grab himself a tower plate here, I believe. One more auto from the minions. There we go. Bit more gold injected into him. He's always got those Swifty boots, so he can be very quick across the map off that one. I think he may be looking for a potential reset. Oh, no, he's going to hang around in lane. Just wants to put some traps down as they're going to go get popped away by Inax. And tempo now with all of the objectives down has definitely slowed off a little bit. So it's just going to be a little bit more of a waiting game before we get into any more action. I mean, we got Grub spawning up another 3 minutes. 3 minutes-ish until the Dragon spawns up as well. So now it's time for the junglers just to try and hit their 6s and then make a play happen. I say hit their 6s. Velia's already hit level 7, so got a pretty big lead over Jankos. Definitely kind of out-tempoing him right now.
I'm not going to lie to you. I feel like looking at Vi and Zinzao, I would expect a little bit more early action. I mean, for Vi, sure, you need that level 6 try and get a gank through, which he did. Straight as he hit that level 6, he went on to midway for no way. However, for Jankos and Zinzao really likes to fist fight in the early game as he falls off quite tremendously towards that late game, and he is kind of a pseudo tank as well because he goes for more of a bruiserish build with like Sterak's Gauge later on. So you really want to start fighting quite early. However, here I feel like for NORD, it's so important to try and get Victor and their Varus like 2 items at least. You see that we're gonna have like a traditional Rod of Ages on that mid lane for Norway, so it's gonna take a while until he gets that extra level from it, get the 10 stacks. And I feel like right here, I'm getting worried if I'm NORD, because Los Ratones primarily make their mistakes in the early game, right? And then they have impeccable macro, and they stitch up any mistakes on the mid to late game. And I feel like if you don't try to put them down early on, they might just run away with how good they are at running the map.
Well, seeing Bowser getting the use of those synchronized souls in early. Items being changed, so he will not be getting that empowered recall anymore, which means he kind of... That free playstyle that we're seeing right now, where he's able to take a trade, lose a lot of health, quickly recall, and then not actually lose too much just on the farm front is really, really powerful. And that is the Battle's playstyle. Like, the battle of attrition is very hard versus synchronized souls. So he's able to get the shove in, gets a quicker reset off in Chachi, and then it's back onto the map as a... Hold on. We are seeing a potential gank coming in. Chains are available to Inax. Doesn't throw them out. Jankos has been seen on a ward, though, so Los Ratones shouldn't be looking to make that mistake.
I feel like right now it's kind of like a battle on who's going to get priority towards that bot side of the map. The next Dragon's coming up in 30 seconds. I feel like NORD would definitely, if they have the tools, want to contest that. As you'll see, talking about tools, Rod of Ages just completed on Norway, of course. 1 stack alone is not gonna... Sorry, 0 stacks alone are not gonna make a difference right now, but an item is an item, and if you can use that to hard shove that wave, you're in mid lane before Nemesis, you can push that through. But if you look on your minimaps right now, Baus was actually shifting from that top lane towards that bot side of the map to try and see if he could impact. But due to that big chunk that they took on to crown it down the bot lane and him having to reset, I feel like NORD got a pretty free pass into that river.
I think Baus was actually proxy farming and got forced off by Chachi. And then was forced into an awkward position.
All the way to mid?
I think we are just going to see Los Ratones actually go for the challenge. I'm surprised by this. I mean, Crani has ultimate, so he can still have impact from a distance away. They jump in. Jankos goes for Velia. Doesn't quite make the connection. Reckless comes in for the lockdown onto multiple people with the quickness. Here, the curtain has been called. The knockup lands onto multiple members, and Dragon should be just about secured. No way takes that 4th shot. And that is going to be all that Los Ratones are going to be able to do. It's just a little bit of damage. They don't even force the they force Jankos' flash, and that is it.
Oof, I think Los Ratones committed a top esports scene right here, which is the river doesn't belong to us. Screw it, let's fight. It's neutral objective time. They had no vision in this river. They had no setup in this river, and they actually like just threw their bodies in there. I feel like particularly that Galio is such a huge piece of that Vi composition that if you cannot have Baus join you for these fights, I feel like it's not worth it taken from the side of Los Ratones. And Inax grabbing his first kill right here on the Varus, Ghostblade complete as well. It's going to be huge. Like this kind of Varus, the Pope Varus, is really, really strong, especially when you're contesting around neutral objectives and your opponents are forced to walk through those choke points. Those abilities and that poke is going to hurt a lot.
Oh.
Okay. Holds onto the flash.
That is a big time to get a chunk out of the mid as well. Nemesis does a lot of work there for his team. Crowley's rotated over. Grubs are spawning up. So this is prime time now for the side of Los Ratones. Although Jankos wants to look for Reckless. Lands the wind become lightning. Gets caught by the knockup. In jumps the Galio. And I think that might just be Jankos going down. Baus secures the kill with the taunt. And it's going to be straight to Grubs for the side of Los Ratones. Although
very well done right
here.
Hold up.
Got a replay in the picture-in-picture,
right
but
there.
I don't think we're going to get the chance because these teams are not looking to give this one up. Chains of Corruption make the connection onto Reckless. He's able to break away, and now it follows through. Crowley is popped in the middle of all of this one. Nemesis has rejoined the fray. Teleport comes in as Baus jumps into the fight. No Way gets caught by Trap and is forced to flash away from the taunt. That's going to be a kill secured for Nemesis. Chachi has now made his way into that fight. Reckless low. Baus looking for a window to try and find that damage off, as it looks like Los Ratones are going to get forced out. Chachi gets the wall bang down on to 1. The knockup's there. Velia has to flash the wall. Chachi flashes after him. The steadfast presence is not going to be enough, but in comes the shield. In comes the turnaround. Chachi, can he find the kill onto Velia? Another wall bang into the ultimate out from Velia. It's so close. Chachi finds the kill.
We wanted fist fights we will get. There's no way both teams are completely disregarding Void Grubs and just going at it with each other. And I feel like NORD have really got a good upper hand right here. You see the second Inox joins the fight, the poke, the sear damage is coming through. That poke virus in the early game. Let's watch this one more time because Jankos had seen an avenue, but Los Ratones bringing Baus and shutting down. That's a 4 versus 5 that's going on right here. And the fact that the catch crowning early on means no curtain call, means no zoning, means no 80 damage coming through from the side of NORD other than this buy. A very, very good TP from Baus right here to split apart NORD. But by the time this has happened, a lot of things have been committed already by Los Ratones. But hold up. Chasing Reckless.
Oh, Reckless. Actually, Jankos able to connect in. Gets a fair amount of damage off. The problem is the attention is being shifted away to Baus.
He's like a magnet,
Baus,
man.
He's a magnet.
R?
I can't see because he's just got the level up thing on his graphic. Getting close. No R available to him. Taunt's going to come down. Baus gets the phase rush. And he's actually getting away. Dodges the wind, becomes lightning. Flashes over the wall. Gets the Justice Punch off for a bit more distance. How did Baus get away there?
There's no way. The Massive League has done it again. What's it called in football? A dribble? What's it called?
The thing that you do? What are you talking about? I mean, a dribble is something you do in football.
Yes. He's the Messi of League.
I don't know anything about football, man.
Oh, come on.
You're talking to the wrong guy.
Football fans will know. It's the thing that you do, the Ronaldo thing with the ball that people lose their minds over, and then you don't know where the ball is going anyway.
When Ronaldo kicks a ball, everyone goes mad.
No, when he does the trick. Okay, whatever. You are terrible, Ace. I've probably watched more football than you in my life.
Look, man. I'm English. If I like football, that makes me a terrible person. Like, English football fans are not it. So I keep away from that sport. That was, honestly, for anyone who was actually a football fan, listening to that whole segment probably just gave them, like, absolute madness. Ooh, Crowny, quick cleanse. All that for red buff.
That is Chain of Corruption, though, gone from Phoenix, and that's a huge tool to actually be able to engage and disengage, because if you look over on NORD, what is the realistic hard engage? It's just Nash finding an angle, finding a flash. Right now, he doesn't have the flash. He's going to have to get creative with his Hex Flash, and not having Chain of Corruption gives a lot of avenues for Velia and Baus to play around shutting down that virus that will now have to walk into this river flashless.
Well, they're looking for some damage off here. Teleport jumping in. Baus holding ultimate as Chachi just joins up his team. Baus has lost a lot of HP, though. This is going to definitely be an issue for them in the fight. As Rox is going to back off. NORD have first move into the river. Chachi gets the wallbang off on to Baus just to send him, just to give him a message. A lot of damage actually coming out already. As here comes the curtain call and the fight looks to be breaking on. Chachi trying to break away. Nash taking a couple of shots coming in. Nemesis trying to get that ball position for a big shockwave. The curtain call is not really having all that much impact. In fact, No Way just ate the 4th shot and it did nothing through the shield. Reset comes in from Baus. He's got teleport. Arlos still going to fight this one. Shockwave lands onto 2. Velia's already low. That's the kill onto the Orianna. Nemesis is down. And the charm as well from Reckless used just to play the escaping game here. As Baus now jumps into the fray. Gets a taunt off onto No Way. I've never seen Los Ratones look this lost.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Remember what we said in the early game. Unless the combo works by Galio Rakan, you stun someone in place for long enough, you CC them down, you will be able to actually get a kill through, maybe make this a 4 versus 5. This is a NORD favored kind of ease of execution in terms of composition right here. You play the front to back, you sit champion, you engage champion, you kill the first thing that's in front of you. There's not enough tankiness on the side of Los Ratones, and you have an almost 2-item poke virus right here. Sorry, excuse me, nowhere near 2 items, a full item, I guess. Poke virus, but this is more than enough. He deals a lot of damage together with early game Jhin. You've got 7 stacks on that Rod of Ages as well. There's a bunch of damage coming through from the side of NORD, and I feel like this is the most miscoordinated we have seen Los Ratones play so far.
Yeah, I think, you know, the lack of damage is always going to be a big issue for them, but it's also the execution, like you said, is not quite there. They're not able to find those targets. And I honestly feel like Chachi is the biggest shutdown to anything that Los Ratones want to do. Like, how do you deliver Velia or Reckless into the backline for Baus to jump to when Chachi just stands in front of his team with Steadfast Presence running? Like, it's so hard to catch them. That's going to be the biggest issue that they got to deal with. And also that shockwave from Nemesis was a little underwhelming off the back of that one. Now, looks like the Herald is going to get started up here from the side of NORD. I don't really feel that Los Ratones are going to do anything to try and stop it. They're bringing Chachi up over in the area, although Los Ratones, 3 members strong. Chains of Corruption back up on Inax, though, so it's just not worth it. NORD going to grab that one. Probably look to crack mid lane with that as well and really open the map up as Baus. It's going the long way around. Does need to be a little bit careful. He's going to proxy, but... I mean, his wave's here, so he'll be A-okay. Chachi's going to rock up. I think, Baus, it's probably time for you, buddy, to get away.
Nah, he'll be fine. I mean, right here, NORD used the...
Hold on. We went away.
Method of elimination?
Baus is so going down here. Chachi's going to get that kill. There it is.
Okay. By the method of elimination right here, NORD managed to get that Reef Trail. The second Los Ratones saw that Chachi had actually shifted all the way to that mid lane. It was kind of impossible to fight the 4 versus 5, and NORD keep on repeatedly taking those kills without necessarily letting go of pressure around the map. Like, that mid lane is pretty neutral. No wave was always towards that top lane, pressuring out the wave. There was one wave that Chachi did catch over in the bot lane after he's pushed mid, so it's not that they're giving too much up. However, if you look overall in the gold is dead even because there's always tower platings getting chipped up because Baus will stick on a side lane. He will pressure down the wave. Chachi is looking to make that towers pretty even right here, 1 apiece for both sides, as in 2 minutes we're gonna have our third Dragon. If NORD manages to secure, then it will be soul point for them as well. And I really want to see actually Los Ratones properly set up for this particular objective. They need to have a proper front to back where Baus and Velia can actually cause some anxiety and some chaos and split apart that backline of NORD.
Well, looks like Reckless was thinking about making a move, although Inax is in the area. Got the Chains of Corruption available. Reckless able to make a grand escape there with his W. And yeah, it's constant fishing for picks here from Los Ratones, but they're not actually getting the opportunity to actually find said picks, and it's starting to be a bit of an issue for them. Baus will continue to pull people over to his side of the map, and I feel like once these last 2 tier 1 towers go down for Los Ratones, they will be able to kind of play the map a little bit more aggressively, but right now it's only bot lane tower that is down. On both sides of the map, actually. Both mid and top are standing for tier 1s on either side of the teams. Yep. But Herald in the pocket of Jankos, so I expect it, like I said, probably to go down in the mid lane, to be honest. It's got a bit of time left on it, so just holding off for the moment. But we'll probably put that down and try and take the tower.
Yeah, they've put Nash in the middle as well, constantly pushing down waves, ping-ponging them back and forth with Brownie as Chachi. He's going to claim the second tower of the game, which goes over to the side of NORD. Does have the TP, same as Baus, if I'm not wrong right here. Yeah, he will have his TP available as well. And I feel like it's much more difficult to join a fight post first engage for Baus than it is for Chachi. So if Chachi manages to keep the Galio away from being able to insta-ult in, this is going to be a completely changed fight for the side of NORD in a very good way. As you see, Chachi has already started making his way down bot, which will then allow Baus to pretty much follow suit after he's pushed up that top lane wave. However, NORD again, first on that bot lane river. They have set up, there's not a single ward in this river for Los Ratones other than the Scuttle Crown.
Yeah, and Crowny's blue, which went down there, but Curtain's going to get called. Nash may just play the interrupt here off the back of this one. They got the Vi coming in over the back line. They're going to deliver the Galio in. Velia finds the steal. Jankos gone low HP already as they're looking for the re-engage in, but that Magnet Storm into the Chains of Corruption was absolutely massive. Velia trying to survive. The Shockwave does nothing as down goes Nemesis off the back of that one. He flashes over the wall. No way continues the chase, but the arrow comes through from Inax. Crowny forced to flash away. And only 2 stand as Inax looks for the W, doesn't quite find it. Holy moly, Los Ratones were just exploded.
I have to say, huge props to Chachi. You're gonna be like, what are you talking about? Are you crazy? We didn't even see him on the screen. Exactly. He kept Nemesis and Baus out of this entire fight. Let's watch this one more time. Eyes on the minimap towards the top side of the map. The second Chachi sees the flank from Nemesis and Baus, of course he can't stop Baus because he's joining the fight with the whatever his ultimate is called, but he's kicking Crowny out and he's skipping Nemesis from walking into that fight too. Both the carries from the side of Los Ratones could not get that damage down at all.
And this is what I was saying. There are 2 damage comp here for the side of Los Ratones. You don't have that, you're in real danger. Crowny gets interrupted, but I mean, Chachi's just too tanky, man. He's got the Random Omen, he's got the Everwinter, and that Hollow Radiance. Like, Crowny right now, even with a Lord Doms, just doesn't hurt him at all.
Chachi, I feel like a lot of teams feel like it's a mistake to give over Poppy to Chachi, and that's the reason.
Yeah, I might agree.
Guy can actually blind pick that stuff and make it work as Velia. He's just looking for anything. There is the entire jungle on the bot side apart from that buff, but seeing as Chachi is like dipping towards top fog of war, Velia's kind of making a beeline for it. It's not low enough yet. Because Victor is all the way down the bottom of the map. There is TP for Victor. Okay.
Oh, they just sent the jungle away. Evicted. They need to be quick. Teleport comes in. Wallbang goes wide. They're looking for the taunt onto Chachi. But, I mean, they're wasting time here. Velia's got everyone on top of him. Atakan has been secured. The revives are there. And Velia has nowhere to go. Chachi is single-handedly shutting Los Ratones out of this game. They can't go anywhere. As I actually think Crowny might go down here.
I don't know if you guys can relate to that, but mosquitoes and flies are probably the most annoying thing about summer. That's exactly what Chachi is for Los Ratones right here. I don't know if rats care about mosquitoes and flies, but I can only assume that mosquitoes can only be annoying for any animal that there is out there or living being. And that's Chachi right here on his Yordle. That Poppy has been such a freaking nuisance. He's been stopping 2 people from joining from the side of Los Ratones, constantly zoning away key parts, which is usually their carries. And Reckless about to walk into 3 people.
Oh, Reckless not getting away from this one. I say that he's able to get the Battle Dance away to safety. And somehow Reckless lived, but I came at a pretty devastating cost. He's going to have to reset. His team are just completely on the back foot right now. And I don't know, Trouble. Is there a point where Los Ratones' comp have scaled enough to be able to actually do enough damage to kill Chachi? Because I don't see Jin as a particularly good Poppy killer.
I don't think so. We said it earlier, right? Like, Rel and Zinza will be fine for Jin to kill later on. But Chachi didn't even go for your classic Sundered Sky into full tank. He went completely full tank on this Poppy. Just for the pure reason to be able to be completely unkillable from the side of Los Ratones. You've got burst damage through the Orianna and the Vi, and you've got very low consistent damage from Jin in terms of what he does to tanks. So they do not really have the tools to kill this Poppy. And the problem is that even if they don't have the tools to kill the Poppy, Victor and Varus have so much range that it's just so difficult for Velia to find an angle to get into the backline. And even if he does, he's so far behind that it doesn't matter. Baus?
He's able to get a bit of damage off here. Actually, Inax losing a lot. He's able to jump away. Nash with the interrupt, denies that one as Crowny finds himself in danger. Reckless jumps in, finds the knock up on. Crowny still trying to make the escape. Can he get it? Oh, the flash over Velia's Q as it's a double kill for Inax. And just like that, they may even kill Inax here, Velia, but even if he can, he's still got the revive. There's nothing they're going to be able to do. That's Baron. That's probably game 1 for NORD.
8-0-3. Inax is having such a banger for game. 2.8 thousand gold up to Crowny's Jin, who's been invincible for the entire split. This guy's an absolute monster on Jin, and it feels like right here NORD have found a way to shut down Los Ratones. I will say, it's not the easiest game to execute from the side of Los Ratones. They don't necessarily have any tank killers. Their front to back is not necessarily front to back. It's kind of a front to back with a spice, where Vi can actually disrupt backline if Rakan is there and if Galio can follow up. But they don't truly have enough damage to make it stick into the backline. And that's becoming a little bit problematic. On the other side, I wanted to say that we wondered if NORD was going to look good, right? No Way has not necessarily been practicing too much with them since the start of the split as he wasn't there. And the really good face that NORD showed was with Sphero, when he was able to absolutely demolish anyone in the mid lane and actually take over games almost by himself. Now NORD as a collective with their main roster, that's the intended main roster, looks so good collectively.
Absolutely. Looking really, really solid. I'm going to see Jankos. Kind of complete brain fart what I was watching on my screen. Jankos secures Dragon number 3. Obviously, that steal from Velia means that this isn't going to be sole point, but ultimately, I'm not sure if that really matters. Like, NORD are just too far ahead right now. The gold lead significantly in their favor. And the really big thing is I don't feel like NORD have pulled a cheesy victory out here. They've just drafted better than Los Ratones, and they've just outmatched them in the macro. Every Dragon, apart from that first one, NORD were in the area before. They got the vision down, they got the control, and Chachi has just made it impossible for the side of Los Ratones to step forwards, as Velia is just on the wrong side of the map right now. They're looking to just make a breakaway. Should be able to do so, although I say that and Chachi finds Velia. Velia going to go for the Q. Chachi doesn't get him with a steadfast presence, and is going to be able to make a breakaway. But yeah, I mean, it's just been a lot of mistakes from Los Ratones in this first game of the series.
I feel like you kind of nailed it when you said it's not a cheesy win, because I felt like a lot of teams had to pull something out of their hat. They had to pull an ace somehow to try and cheese Los Ratones because they're so good at playing around the map. But I feel like this particular composition doesn't necessarily complement the playstyle of Los Ratones. You cannot necessarily sit on a sideline here. You're too squishy with the Galio. NORD has tools to actually re-engage onto the rest of the team when the Galio's on the side lane. I feel like right here, having that Galio on the side lane is not beneficial to Los Ratones because they really need him to be there. The second Velius is an opening and has to go in, which hasn't always been the case. They don't really have easy tools to deal with Chachi's Poppy, even though it has been permabanned versus Chachi wasn't quite the case in this draft. Good news for Los Ratones, won't be available for the rest of this best of 3. So there's that, and they might be able to bounce back. However, this has been NORD favored from level, I'll say 6, 7. No, never mind. From level 10. Because 6-7 it was the 1-0 from Valiant.
Yeah. It's honestly just been a very, very clean game, and it started to show that, you know, Los Ratones can be beat, because right now they've been pretty infallible. As we are going to see them go for a fight, this may be the desperation play onto the backline. The Galio is going to come in, but the Magnus Storm stops it. That's going to be enough to lock Velia down. Inax goes golden in the middle of all of the fight just to stay alive. What an interrupt from Nash onto Baus to make sure that Inax was under no threat there.
That was actually very crucial from Nash, because there's no flash on Inax. The second that Galio dives right on top, you can actually land a shockwave on top of him. You've got Vi plus Galio on top of a sitting duck of an AD carry pretty much, but Nash, he's been playing fantastically well today. I mean, I know it's only just game 1 of the entire series, but he has been on point with the engages. Mind you, he is the primary engage and disengage for his team right here. So his engages mean 10x, as if you had more champions to engage with. Nash been having a pretty good game, and overall NORD on 7,500 goldies right here. They're gonna lead that mid lane wave over in the mid lane. There is quite a big wave clear scenario from the side of Los Ratones with Nemesis on the Orianna. Jin's pretty good at it as well, so they're not gonna drop another tower unless they drop another member. However, neutral objectives matter a lot when you're stuck in base, and in a minute 40, this will be soul for NORD. It's gonna be 3 mountains in a mountain soul. It's gonna be impossible to kill that Poppy if he wasn't before.
Oh, it's gonna be so hard, especially with the fact that Inax is about to get that Zhonya's back as well. So the two kind of like primary damage dealers for the side of NORD both have a Zhonya's to keep themselves alive, where like Crowny has Cleanse and Flash. There's an Archangel shield onto Nemesis, but like if you find one of them isolated or they're able to get onto the backline, they don't really have an avenue to buy space or time. Chachi's swinging the hammer. Is he going to hit? No, he's not. He's just going to cancel the ult, actually. Get it back off cooldown as quick as possible. But massive chunk out of Baus's health bar.
I don't like what NORD is doing here. They're basically just in spectator mode until the side lane minions crash inside the base of Los Ratones. So I'm not the biggest fan of just spectating that mid lane wave die until the other ones come through and then they die as well. I feel like making sure that all of those waves are pretty much synced, or at least 2 of them are synced, because you've got super minions both on bot and top lane. You kind of need to use one or the other for some pressure, so you can at least get a couple of hits on that mid lane tower, which they haven't been able to so far. Their primary target, of course, here is going to be the soul point, the soul for the set of NORD. Again, Mountain Soul on this spot piece is going to be completely invincible, but the biggest point is to cut off a lot from walking in. That's actually huge for them. Chain of Corruption down from Inox.
Yeah, this could be a window as Baus may find himself in danger. Starting to taunt up, goes in for the knock-up, the Deadly Flourish comes down, flashes away, there's the Magnet Storm onto the back line, but there's going to be a big Galliwar, only hitting onto Nash though. Zhonya's used, Inax is low HP. So far, the deaths have only been Belia, but it's looking to change, because down goes Baus, down goes everybody else, they're forced to flash away. Nemesis is ignited as Nash secures the kill. Chachi's onto Crowny. Crowny is just tickling him here on the Jhin as the arrow chunks him out. And I think that's probably just going to be game here for the side of NORD. Crowny instantly comes in with a cleanse, but that will not remove the W stacks as NORD's Inax able to secure himself his 11th kill. 11-0. This just didn't look close. Los Ratones, they get demolished in their first game versus NORD.
You wanted spice?
That
we got spice.